Mrs. Cornet, who spent much time at her toilet table and was reputed to be of a nomadic complexion, looked as ill at ease as the Major. Miss Scrawen, who wrote sensuous poetry but led an otherwise virtuous life, merely showed irritation. Even if you are virtuous in private, you don't necessarily want everyone to know it. Bertie Van Ton, who was so depraved at 17 that he had long ago given up trying to stop getting worse, turned very white. But he did not make the mistake of running out of the room like Odo Finsbury, a young gentleman who was studying to become a pastor and who was possibly terrified at the thought of what terrible things he might hear about other people. Clovis was smart enough to maintain his composure. In his head, he was already calculating how long it would take to get a box of mice to buy the cat's silence. For the most part, it can be said that Lady Blemley's guests were careful not to provoke Tobermory's ire or attention. Unfortunately, this did not seem to be the case for all those gathered. For even in a sensitive situation like the present, Agnes Resker, ever the diplomat, could not remain in the background.
"Oh, why did I ever come down here?" she asked dramatically.
Tobermory immediately replied, "Judging by what you said to Mrs. Cornet yesterday, you came for the food. You described the Blemleys as the dullest people that you knew, but said they were clever enough to employ a first-rate cook. Otherwise, no one would accept their invitation to stay over a second time."
"Oh, that's a lie. Ask Mrs. Cornet. She knows I never said such a thing," exclaimed panicked Agnes.
"Mrs. Cornet repeated your words afterward to Bertie Van Ton," continued Tobermory, "and said, 'That woman is a complete glutton. She'd go anywhere for 4 meals a day.' And Bertie Van Ton said—" At this point, the story ceased. Tobermory had seen the big yellow Tom from the church crawling through the bushes toward the stable wing. In a flash, Tobermory had vanished through the open French window.